this is Ka-Fi here again, bringing you an update on my ball-jointed doll project. And if I sound a little weird, I've had a cold for the past 6 billion years, since dinosaurs roamed the earth and had colds. But anyway, I stuck the eyes that I got with my doll that I actually have now, the 14mm eyes, I stuck those in there and added some clay around it to kind of make those eye sockets that heads are supposed to have so that you can put eyes in them. And I'm realizing that I really love Premier clay. It's really velvety, I guess I would say, because it has a really fine grain. It's a good clay. It's pure white, as you can probably see there, as far as clays go. Also, it doesn't crack, like I said. When it dries, you have to watch it a little bit, but compared to, like, okay, I'm going to go on a limb and say compared to Sculpey and compared to a lot of cheaper clays, this is just, once you touch it and you work with it and it dries and you see your work, you can't go back to anything else. Okay, so there's my spiel about Premier clay, and the reason why I use Premier over the pink Ladal is because of its lightness. Ladal was way too heavy. So, I have made a body now, and it is bootylicious, because I like bootylicious dolls. It's not that bootylicious. It's decently. And this is for my doll Cecilia, which is the doll that you saw me working on before. She's got a little bit of a chubber's belly, because I like it when, you know, when you have a childish looking doll, when they have that little child tummy going on there. I gave her a little bit of a clavicle bone. Can't really see it, but I'll put pictures up. So I had my core that was going to be all Model Magic, and then I found Bat Chicks, who is amazing, who is way smarter than me apparently, who makes the Machine something dolls, which are really cool. You should go check them out. She uses straws. At least I think that was her. Somebody uses straws. Straws are a good idea. I used my Model Magic blob as this whole chest piece and the hip piece, but then when I needed it to start being, you know, like the leg area, I took boba straw and put it in there and just masking taped it down. And I did the same with these, except these are normal size straws, like McDonald's straws. And then for the arms, I'm using sort of like restaurant, smaller straws that kind of look like this. You can see compared to the more McDonald's-y straw, it's smaller. And, you know, the way I collected these, you're asking, like, how'd you get these straws? Did you buy them? Where did you buy them? OMG, a million questions. I went out to dinner with my friends, and I'm like, hey, everybody give me your straws. And I went to McDonald's and bought drinks, and took the straws and cleaned them, and was totally a creeper. So, there's how you get those. You can also buy them. Originally, I had 2 different core pieces for this. One for the chest and one for the hip, because that's how dolls usually are. There's a chest and a hip, unless you're, you know, somebody like Ryo Yoshida, who makes one giant torso thingy, which I don't particularly like. I mean, some dolls look really cool with that, but I don't know, I like it to be separated in the middle. And by the way, I got this for Christmas. It is so helpful. Translation for English on my website, if you have this book. If you don't, go buy it, and then you can read the freaking translation. Don't steal things. But anyway, I really recommend this, and I think it is still in print. It's not super duper rare. But it shows the entire process of making a ball-jointed doll. It doesn't cast it into resin, but there's a lot of really good information, and how to body blush it, put the hair in, make eyes, which is really hard to find. So that's a really good resource, and being able to see someone actually make something, that helps a lot. So moving on, so I made the body, and I am going to cut it again into 2 pieces. When you're making the body, and when you're making an arm, or a leg, or whatever, those items should be made all in one piece, and then you should cut it and change it to be more ball jointed, because you need the shape to be flush, and it's a lot harder to create a shape in 2 pieces with a ball joint in the way than it is to create one flush shape that will fit with itself. And this looks terrible right now because it is just clay on a stick right now. because the first step I'm taking to squeeze the clay so that there are no air holes between the clay and the straw, and then I'm letting that dry, because every time I try to add clay and sculpt it into something that looks like an arm, it moves, and then air bubbles arise in between this and this. So I'm just going to let that dry and then add clay on later. The best part of Premiere is that you can let something dry and then, you know, get your water, get the clay wet again, and then add more clay on. And I should be letting this dry because I added clay to her butt. Anyway, so you can work in phases, and I recommend working in phases. That helps a lot. So that's what I have to say about that. And if you guys are wondering about, you know, materials besides what I mentioned, you know, the straws, the Model Magic, the Premiere, the drawings, the masking tape, if you're wondering what other materials I've used besides sandpaper, I've used this maybe like a couple times to poke inside the head. My hands, that's the biggest thing that I've been using. I use these eyes just to kind of figure out how to do stuff. Yeah. And, oh, my sewing scissors, which are now becoming crap scissors because I've cut things other than cosplay items with them, which is a no-no. But yeah, so, oh, and this Sharpie. This Sharpie and kind of this sponge, but pretty much not much else. So you don't need that many materials. It's not that daunting. And if you're afraid to start a ball jointed doll, don't be, because you can do it. I believe in you. She believes in you. And it's not that hard. Once you get going, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just sculpting. This isn't that scary. Holy crap, this is amazing. I'm making a ball jointed doll. Yay! So just go and try, and if you fail and if it cracks, don't cry. You have more time. Tomorrow is another day. And be patient. Let it dry. Don't be impatient. That just leads to disaster. Oh, and by the way, random other update. I got my gas mask. Yay! So that whenever I'm working with Mr. Super Clear or resin eventually, or sanding or anything, I will not die. So that's awesome. I got it at Ace Hardware for 40 bucks. Please support Ace Hardware because they are awesome and they will actually help you, as opposed to the people at other gigantic hardware stores who will sexism you and be all like, excuse me honey, what do you need? Why aren't you in the painting section? Oh yeah, I don't know anything about this product. Let me walk away and not come back and be an idiot. Okay, bye. Anyway, that's what I have to say. Sorry, didn't mean to hate on anybody there. But yeah, so go forth and make ball jointed dolls, and thank you so much for listening. Go find Bat Chicks on the internet and visit my website, and I can't believe you actually watched all of this. Holy crap. Because this stuff is the best in the world. Seriously. Because its consistency, when you touch it, it is like the most amazing clay in the world. Yeah, that's how you should do that. I want to take a word about that. Take a word? That's a phrase. When you put a ball joint in it, you know, then whatever I was about to say. Whatever. That was a full sentence. So this is my Craptastic arm, and I realized that it is, oh no, that's still wet. Anyway, like I said, I'm sick. I'm messed up today. It's to kind of, ooh, don't do that. It's still wet. Duh.